Hey everybody. In this video, I wanted to show y'all how to make little squiggly things, and basically I'm showing you how I made this necklace, which I think is really pretty. And what's fun about it is it has a spinny, so if you like fiddling with your jewelry, which I know I do, but let's get started. So the technique that I want to show y'all today is how I enjoy going through making these little spirals, the squiggly hammered spiral. So far, I got a head start because everything that I've done here, I'm going to be showing you how to do here in this video, but I had one long section of 18 gauge parawire in the vintage bronze color, and I did the shaping on one end and hammered it, and then I started stringing on beads. Here I have an 8mm carnelian, a cute little metal bead, this really cool kind of, I'm pretty sure it's just glass, but it was a donut that was drilled, or a hololith. But typically online, if you're searching for beads, if you search donut bead, you'll find the ones that are in this shape. There's a 10mm carnelian there in the center. And then I repeated the motif on the other side. It was all strung up on the wire, and then I repeated the squigglies and hammered it. With this piece, I really wanted to both contrast and repeat the geometric motif that's going on in the focal point, which is where these squigglies come from, but then also just throwing in an odd bit of geometric, then squiggly, then the repeated just round and straight, finishing off the necklace. And I'm going to be making another segment like this to extend on the other side. And so to do that, whenever I was cutting the wire for this part, I cut two lengths that were the same, again, of the 18 gauge. And then what we're going to do here is I'm going to start by making just a little spiral. Just a little one. Just like that. I'm going to get some of this stuff out of the way. Oh, also, I have my little anvil, a brass and nylon headed jeweler's hammer, bent, flat, round, and wire snip style pliers, some 18 gauge 1/8 inch aluminum rings that I've opened a bunch of, some 16 gauge 1/4 inch rings that I just have a couple of. We'll see how those get used here in a bit. Two cute little metal rondels. These are just a little accent bead, but I'll be using those here shortly. And then however many, like if you're following along with this project, however many 6mm, 8, 10, 4mm carnelian beads that you want to be working with. So here we have our cute little spiral, if the camera will focus. And I'm going to tighten that down just a bit. And now I'm going to insert my pliers and hold right there. And I'm just going to bend the wire around. Like that. And I'm going to reinsert with moving up the nose of my pliers. So this one I bent with it inserted right there on my pliers. This time I'm going to go about half the way down, and I'm going to bend. And what that accomplishes is it grows the curve. Makes it a lot more snaky, I think. And now I'm going to just hold my pliers right there and do a little like 90-degree bend. And now we're going to come in and hammer this. So I apologize in advance. This is going to be pretty loud, and I really hope I don't hit my camera. But just... if I remember to, in post-editing, I'm going to try to quiet that down a little bit for y'all. But that's what it looks like being hammered on one side. I'm going to flip it over. You can see it's nice and smooth because after years of use, my hammer has some texturing going on it. But I want it nice and textured on both sides. So I'm going to do a little bit of positioning. Just kind of scrunching things down a little bit more. Hush, puppies. And I'm going to hammer. Just like that. Gives it some nice texture. Really helps it hold its shape. Like this is nice and work hardened. Come here, Harley. What's up? Are there people outside? And now I'm going to take my 6mm bead, remove the dog hair, and just slide that right up onto our design. And from here, oops, gravity. From here, I'm just going to repeat that texturing. And I'm going to start by bending at a 90 degree away from the bead. I'm going to insert my pliers at about the halfway mark, right up next to the bead like that. And I'm going to bend. It looks like I didn't quite give myself enough wire, but that's okay because I had the same problem on the other side. So at least it's happening symmetrically. And so now with it like this, I'm just going to make a little curly Q loop here on the end of my wire, as close to both the tip of my pliers and the tip of my wire as what I can, and just kind of gently but firmly push that around. And you can see by compressing the spirals down, it helps give it a nice snaky effect. And I mean, and you can do this and not hammer it. I mean, I think that's just beautiful. But for this piece, I wanted everything hammered. Also, carnelian's a nice, strong, durable bead. If you're working with something softer like lapis or malachite or turquoise, you might want to do, to be really careful hammering this other side. You can see I've kind of spread the wire out a little bit. That way it's not all so up next to the stone. And we're going to go through and hammer. Through and hammered on both sides, and this is something that you'll notice. I absolutely love the parawire. The enamel is not flaking or breaking off or anything like that. And I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of smush everything in. And there we have a really nice little squiggle. And I figure we can go ahead and just build the rest of this necklace together. So I have the more spirally side facing, growing out from the center of the necklace. So I'm going to have this one flipped over so that the more spirally side grows outward as well. And you can see here I have attached on 2 points through the loop and then through the curve. So I'm going to attach 2 of these bright aluminum jump rings. Oh, also I've got some chain nose pliers, but you could, for the sake of the tutorial, I'll use the flat nose. You can use them both here equally. And I'm going ahead and just threading them through and closing them, because I'll show you what the next step is here shortly. So it's just threaded through like that. In this design, I really do think, you could be following along with me and yours might come out completely different, and that's just the nature of this style of wrapping, it's supposed to come out different. I mean, your artistic style is really going to be reflected in the pieces that you make. So now I'm going to take our large brown anodized aluminum and thread through all 4 of those jump rings and close it. And then I'm going to double up on that same ring placement. Give it a little bit more substance and structure. Because especially with such a large, bulky centerpiece, I didn't want the rest of the necklace to be too delicate, though I did try to taper it off. So you can see I threaded through both of those. And I threaded through both of those, and I'm closing it. Because I know that for myself personally and for the client base that we sell to, folks tend to enjoy more of a necklace design that is not bulky on the back of their neck. Which, I mean, I get that. Now these guys, it's all stuck and very rigid. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get in here and remove one of these smaller rings. Because what happened is the loops of the wire sculpted piece got kind of stuck behind our jump rings, and if they were in between them, then that would work out a lot better. So again, problems like this will arise as you're crafting. It's perfectly normal. Just kind of roll with the punches. Okay, there we go. So yeah, see how that fits much better? And now I'm going to go through and place those rings back through. And close. Yeah, that's much better. It has a nice healthy movement now. And now I'm going to show you guys how to make just a bead link. I have my 18 gauge wire. I like to function off the spool, which what I mean by that is I'm not going to cut the wire initially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread on a rondel, another 6mm bead, and then the second rondel. So it just sits there like that. And I'm going to use my flat nose pliers to come in about 1 centimeter from the tip of the wire and put a 90-degree bend, just like that. Then I'm going to use my round nose pliers. Oops, don't mean to go off camera there. And start looping it around and bringing down. Kind of flatten that up with the box hinge. So just like that. And I personally prefer for my little loops to look like balloons as opposed to the letter P. And if you check out my bead link making tutorial, it goes into a lot of different details about different ways of going about making them. And now on the other side, I'm going to do a 90-degree bend. And this is where having a very narrow tipped flat nose plier really comes in handy, because you'll see I was able to get in there with my pliers and bend it very close up to the beads that I'm working with. And now I will snip my wire. Again, giving myself about 1 centimeter. Snip, set that off to the side. And using my round nose again to just shape around. You'll notice I use my fingernails a lot to provide like a counter pressure, because I feel like it keeps everything nice and tight. And I want my loops both on the same plane. Like, I want them both laying this way, as opposed to how one is vertical and one is horizontal. And that's a design choice here for me. And now I'm going to open up the loop here. Boop, just opened like that. and I'm going to thread it onto the end of my little curly cue and close it just like that. And so now they're symmetrical. And then what we're going to do, I have all these little 4mm bead links that I've already made, and I have these little jump rings that I've already opened just to kind of expedite things. But I'm just gonna thread on one link and then the new one, and then I'm gonna close the ring. My goal here is to get as nice and clean and smooth of a closure as I possibly can. And I coil and cut my own bright aluminum rings, so they all have a saw cut closure on them, which I find really helps. Whereas if you're snipping your own rings, like with pliers or something, you'll want to go through and make sure that you can get a nice clean closure there. But I'm just going to keep repeating this. It's I have found that it helps things go by a little faster. I don't know if it actually does take less time, but it makes it feel like it goes faster if I do all the prep work like this and then come in and assemble it, because I'll know kind of, you know, how many I need, or at least how many I'm working with if it's something where I have a limited number of beads. And it definitely expedites things for the sake of a video. Adding on our last one now. Hey kitty, how's it going? Who's a good girl? So here we are with our little bead links, and now it is time to finish the necklace. And so what I'm going to do is on one side I'm going to have some extender chain that's going to be made of these large brown anodized aluminum rings, which I get these from the Ring Lord as well as C&T Designs. Or sometimes I've coiled and cut my own out of enameled parawire as well. And then I'm going to join the larger rings together with two smaller rings. And in chainmail, I guess this would be like a 2-1 chain, maybe? I don't know. But it makes this a really nice, simple, showcases the ring. And again, gives a little bit more substance than just 1-1 chain. And again, I'm trying to repeat and emulate that line and circle pattern. So now that those are attached, I'm going to put a ring on it and then hook it onto our loops. So that'll be what our closure hooks through. And now I'm going to make a clasp. And I'm going to re-demonstrate doing that little curly Q design again. So I'm just making a little loop with my pliers, bringing it down into a nice flowy organic spiral. And you can make this design however tight or loose is what you want. So there's that. And didn't mean to go off camera. It is every time I make a squiggle line, I come a little farther up my pliers. And then whenever I start reducing again, I start using the smaller section of my pliers, if that makes sense. And so now from here, again, gonna do one more squiggle. Just because that's what the artist in me feels like doing. Sometimes you don't really have to have a good reason. You can be like, well, I just wanted to. You know, when you're an artist doing your art, that's the only reason you need. I'm gonna spiral that down a little bit more. And then from here, I'm gonna give myself a 90-degree bend. Kind of, with my thumbnail. And I am going to snip my wire about an inch, maybe an inch and a half from that curve that I just made. Set that aside. And now I'm bending back my wire about halfway. And I'm going to squeeze this down to make a very tight little loop. Hey, kitty. And then I'm going to grab it right there with my pliers. Hey, baby. Give me just a little bit, okay? No. And I'm going to put a little bit of a tighter curve right here. And I'm going to bend up like that. So now we can bend this all around, get it nice and tight. I'm actually going to see if it doesn't, yeah, I like it better twisted the other way. I just twisted kind of the head of the clasp around. Hey. Oh no, it's hard being a cat. Give me just a little bit, alright? Sorry, I talked to her like she knows how to, like she knows what I'm saying. But she wandered back off, so. And by adding that little hook there, I'll show you in just a minute. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to hammer the entire piece. So here we are. But by making the little hook, that gives us a closure. And I've got one more aluminum ring that I'm going to hook through just like that. And I'm going to close it. And so now that little hook will just hook just like that. And you can tighten it down just a bit if you want. Make it fit a little snugger, that you have to force it a bit. But and you can hook it anywhere on these three. And that gives us a very nice little squiggly clasps, which also another option would be to do a hook like this on both ends, and then you could do some large rings on either side and make it like that. I mean, you're the artist here, so do whatever you enjoy. I just wanted to show you the technique. But I'm really pleased with how this necklace came out. Hey guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. I'm really pleased with how this necklace came out. I'm gonna put it on, see if I like it. The clasp works. But yeah, just a nice little necklace. If you guys liked it, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm actually gonna bend up just a little bit more. There we go. And if you enjoy my free tutorials and would like to support what we're doing here at Back to Earth Creations, please check out our Patreon. There's links down in the comment area below. And for just $1 a month, you can put your name in the hat to participate in our fairy house giveaway. Now, it's getting to the end of the month at the time of recording, so this is January's fairy house, and I have a new one in the works for February, but one like this one, or quite different, the one for February is pretty cool. Like, I'm excited about it. But yeah, you could win one for just $1. So go check that out. All the proceeds for that go towards the tools and materials for teaching these tutorials, but primarily for whenever I teach at conventions, the workshops and panels that I do, it provides the tools and materials for that. So do you want to say hey, Harley? Hey, Harley. But I hope you all have an awesome day, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys around.